If you've seen the latest video, we are moving, we have moved. This is actually the new garden. Hi everyone! Today I'd like to share with you some amazing daffodil varieties. I feel like tulips are always the queen of spring, but daffodils are amazing as well. They are deer resistant, they are very well suited for part shade locations, and they come back year on year much better than tulips would. Daffodils are actually incredibly diverse. There are some double ones, some small ones, some yellow, some white, some creamy. There are really a lot of beautiful shades and shapes out there. So without further ado, let's jump in. The first daffodil I want to share with you is called Replete, and it is the most beautiful daffodil ever. It actually looks nothing like the typical yellow daffodil that you're thinking of. If you want a show-stopping variety, go for a double like Replete. And it has this beautiful and roughly cup at the center with orange and white. It is perfection. It grows 45 centimeters tall, and well, I feel like I'm going to say that a lot, but it's really good at naturalizing. This is one that will come back really strong year on year in your gardens. Actually, I've had it in the gardens for several years now, and I'm planting it again this year. I just couldn't resist. It is that good. Next one on the list is a beautiful small daffodil called Tete-a-tete. This is one that you might have seen already at garden centers because it can be forced indoors and also blooms on its own very early. So it's great for early color in the garden, as really small blooms that are deep yellow. It's very short, about 15 to 20 centimeters, so it's great for containers or for a display on a table. It is also the longest flowering daffodil ever. Also one that I've grown, and it flowered non-stop for 4 weeks. An amazing amount of time for a handful of bulbs to be flowering that long. If you'd like to naturalize bulbs in grass and create beautiful drifts and really seas of daffodils, Pheasant's Eye is a great variety for you. Pheasant's Eye is a single bloom, but it has still a lot of detail in its cup. Rather flat, which is interesting on its own, but it also has two colors with a beautiful, really burnt orange edge. That's a really great option for late blooms. You can also pair it with Camasias, for example, and have a beautiful meadow of those Pheasant's Eye and Camasias in purples that will contrast with the orange cup. Amazing. If you love more delicate looking blooms, then Thalia is for you. It has 5 beautiful white petals and is also a great option to naturalize in grass and plant in beautiful drifts. You could mix it with Pheasant's Eye, for example, or with another woodland-esque variety. I have this inspiration picture with some birch trees. I love the way the white of the bark matches the white of the blooms. I think it really gives it a beautiful look. Daffodils are extremely versatile, and as we've seen, you can grow them both in the ground and in containers. And another variety that's beautifully suited for pots is Minnow. It produces clusters of small pale yellow blooms with a slightly darker cup, and also flowers for a really long time. I had it in my garden last year, paired with Miscari in some low bulbs, and it was the most beautiful show. Also, they're great for succession planting. I first had those beautiful Minnows, and then the Miscari took over. But we had them together for a little while, and it was glorious. I love clustered blooms because they're smaller and bloom for longer because there are several blooms per stems. And also, I never had droopy daffodil issue. It happened to me last year. When you have a really big bloom and stems that are a little bit weak, then you have droopy daffodils. And this never happened to me with clustered daffodils. I have 3 double white varieties to share with you because those are my absolute favorite. One of them is Cheerfulness. It grows 35 centimeters tall. I had it in the garden last year along with its sister yellow Cheerfulness, and again, beautiful late color. These grow 35 centimeters tall, and they're just the sweetest thing with this small ruffled center with hints of dark apricots. Really beautiful. Another one, similar looking, that's also scented, is called Sir Winston Churchill. Absolutely beautiful. It is slightly taller, 45 centimeters, and is a mid-flowering variety. Again, beautiful clusters, beautiful color. Possibly there the center is a lot more orange, but again, beautiful clusters, beautiful delicate blooms. The third one of that beautiful trio is called Bridal Crown. This is a great one to force indoors. Again, it is scented. Add any of those to your gardens and you will not regret it. A great discovery from last year was a daffodil called Ice King. It had a really huge cup that was almost as wide as the bloom itself, and it started with a beautiful white color and aged to a creamy white. And again, it was an absolute showstopper in the garden if you love those white tones. One that I'm repeating this year is called Tahiti. I grew it I think 3 years ago. Those bulbs again are from Lidl, but this is just a simple showstopper. It has this beautiful pale yellow and it is interspersed with those beautiful orange petals in the cup. Another beautiful double specimen to add to your gardens. It grows 35 centimeters tall, so it's perfect also for pots if you prefer to plant them that way. I'm trying for the first time this year this beautiful Lotherio narcissus. It flowers in mid-season in April, grows about 40 centimeters tall. I'm really excited to try this out, something a little bit more simple because I have a lot of other showstopper varieties. If you're looking for a very early flowering daffodil in those bright yellow and orange tones, you have to grow Martinette. It's a clustered variety, so again produces several blooms per stem of this beautiful deep yellow color, and its cup is bright orange. Those were absolutely cheerful and lovely to see early in the season last year. Flowered profusely and for a very long time, so I would definitely recommend them. Another newcomer this year for my garden is called Tete bouclee. I really loved it because its cup was an explosion. It's beyond double. It feels like a flower in a flower in a flower. I don't even know how to describe it, but it has this beautiful rich yellow color doubled with apricots accents. I think paired with Lotherio, that could be a really lovely mix to have a simple bloom and something that's a little bit more showy. Now for honorable mentions. Last year in my garden, I also had White Lion and a daffodil called Van Eyck. I didn't include them in this must-have list because they both had the same issue. They had this really big show-stopping double bloom, but their stems grew weak. I don't know if it was user error or just in my garden or just that batch, but they were droopy. So I'm not going to repeat those. They were still beautiful as cut flowers, of course, but that was not really the look I was looking for in the garden, so I'm not going to be repeating those this year. Of course, this wasn't an exhaustive list. There are hundreds of varieties out there and I haven't grown them all yet. But I hope this still gave you an idea of what you can expect from daffodil blooms. They're not all your typical yellow. You have double blooms, you have clustered blooms, you can have them in white all the way to really deep oranges. So there's a daffodil for everyone out there. We're just at the beginning of November now, so I haven't planted them yet. Daffodils can be planted from September onwards all the way to December if your ground is not frozen. I'm a bit late because if you've seen the latest video, we are moving, we have moved. This is actually the new garden. So I'm going to try to get planting as soon as possible, possibly in containers because that's a lot faster. So I'll keep you posted. I don't know if there will be a planting video this year, but I link a playlist with all the planting videos from last year. If you need tips or advice and haven't planted yours, check those out. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time. Bye!